Look, I love riding bikes. Been at it for years. Put crazy miles on my bikes. Spent way too much money on gear. That feeling when you hit the perfect rhythm, crush a big hill, or just cruise through the city with wind in your face, nothing beats it. But nobody tells you the real stuff when you're getting into biking. The annoying stuff. The expensive stuff. The embarrassing stuff that every cyclist deals with but somehow never talks about. Well, maybe we don't want to scare off new riders. Maybe we're too proud to admit these problems exist, but ignoring them just makes it worse for everyone coming up behind us. So, here's the truth. 15 annoying things about owning a bike that nobody warned you about. If you've been riding for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. First truth, you become a lock collector. Remember your first bike lock? Some cheap cable thing you picked up for like $30? Thought it would do the job. And then 2 weeks later, reality hit. Now you're carrying around locks that weigh more than some entire bikes. U-lock, cable lock, maybe a folding lock too. Your security setup costs more than budget bikes, and you still worry every time you park. My buddy, he carries 3 different locks for a quick coffee stop. 3 locks. Why? Because the one time he only brought 2, his bike vanished. You end up watching lock tests on YouTube at midnight, learning about angle grinder resistance ratings. Sold secure gold isn't enough anymore. You need something that could protect nuclear secrets. Second truth, weather becomes personal. Before cycling, rain was just rain. Maybe you got a little wet walking to your car. Now, rain feels like nature specifically targeting you. You check weather apps constantly, 5 times a day, comparing different forecasts because maybe one is lying about that rain chance. You study wind maps like you're planning military operations. Light drizzle is the worst. Never actually light, never actually quick, just enough wetness to soak through everything while technically not being real rain. And wind always works against you. Doesn't matter which way you go, it's always a headwind. Physics says that's impossible, but every cyclist knows the truth. Winter riders know the special pain of seeing 32 degrees and thinking you can handle it, then discovering 32 degrees plus wind plus pedaling feels like Arctic hell. Third truth, flat tires hunt you down. They don't happen randomly. They have perfect timing. Late for work, flat tire. First ride on new tires, flat tire. Almost home after a great long ride. You get it, flat tire. I had 3 flats in 2 weeks on the same tire. Started thinking I was cursed. Inspected that tire like a crime scene investigator. No glass, no debris. Looked perfect. Apparently, I'd angered some tire gods. You start carrying backup everything. 2 tubes, patch kit, pump, tire levers, tire plugs, frame pump. Your repair kit weighs more than laptops, all because you can't trust rubber and air anymore. You get weird about checking tires before rides, running your hands along the tread like you're reading Braille, or hunting for glass shards, planting ambushes. Fourth truth, bike maintenance takes over your life. They said bikes were low maintenance, just hop on and ride. Complete lies. Start simple enough. Chain lube, tire pressure checks. Then you notice the chain looks dirty, so you bind a greaser. Then you need proper brushes. Then you discover chain wear indicators, derailleur adjustments, cable tension. Next thing you know, you're watching bike maintenance videos at midnight, learning about bottom bracket threading like it's rocket science. Your garage looks like a bike shop exploded. Specialized tools for stuff you didn't know existed 6 months ago. Maintenance never stops. Clean the chain, gets dirty again. Fix the shifting. Something else goes out of adjustment overnight. Spent 4 hours last Sunday replacing brake pads. Simple job, right? Ended up bleeding hydraulic brakes, buying $300 worth of tools. So much for saving money doing it myself, right? Fifth truth, you develop parking anxiety. Every store trip becomes a security assessment. Where's the bike rack? Can I see it from inside? How much foot traffic? You get superhuman vision from constantly checking your bike while shopping, pretending to buy groceries while actually doing surveillance. Once abandoned a full shopping cart because someone was lurking near my bike. Ran outside like a maniac. Turned out the guy was just confused about bike share. No regrets, though. Rather look crazy than file insurance claims. You time errands like pit stops. In and out, fast and clean. Long shopping lists become multiple trips because leaving your bike unattended for more than 10 minutes feels impossible. Sixth truth. Group rides are political nightmares. Sounds great in theory. Community, safety, shared passion. Reality? Most passive-aggressive social experience you'll ever have. Someone always sets a pace just slightly too fast, but not fast enough to complain about. Someone else stops at every historical marker, while half the group checks watches. Route arguments last forever. Take the scenic route. No, bike path is safer. Hey, I know a shortcut. 20 minutes of debate for a 2-hour ride. Unspoken bike hierarchies everywhere. Carbon fiber elite, steel traditionalist, gravel converts, and commuters on touring bikes. Everyone's friendly, but you feel the judgment about your gear choices. Coffee stop politics could end friendships. Where to stop, how long to stay, who orders what. Seen full arguments over cafe selection that would impress diplomats. Seventh truth. Non-cyclists think you joined a cult. Why don't you just drive becomes your most hated question. You explain the benefits and watch eyes glaze over like you're speaking ancient languages. Friends stop inviting you places because you'll probably want to bike there anyway. Family thinks it's a phase, and coworkers assume you're broke or having a crisis. Try dating as someone who rides bikes. Good luck explaining why your bike costs more than their car. Carbon fiber doesn't translate to someone who thinks bikes peaked with banana seats. They're not totally wrong about the cult thing. You do start speaking differently. Can't help analyzing traffic, critiquing bike infrastructure, preaching cycling benefits to anyone who'll listen. I caught myself explaining bike commuting benefits to a barista last week. She just asked about oat milk. Somehow, I ended up discussing traffic patterns and emissions. Maybe there's some truth to those cold accusations. Eighth truth. Gear addiction is real. Starts innocent enough. Need lights for safety. Cheap ones suck, so you get better ones. Batteries die, so you need backups. And before you know it, you're researching lumens like you're lighting a stadium. Just one more bike is every cyclist's favorite lie. N+1 isn't a joke. It's mathematical truth. Road bike for speed, mountain bike for trails, commuter for practical stuff, gravel bike for versatility. Each one is totally justified. And then there's the accessories. Computers for tracking rides, cadence sensors, power meters, heart rate monitors. Your bike starts looking like space equipment. Got a whole drawer of bike tools used exactly once. Specialized gadgets for problems I encountered one time, but thought I should probably own. $50 wheel truing tool I use twice a year max. The justification never stops. This upgrade makes me 3% more efficient. And these wheels, they're performance investments. Titanium bottle cage saves weight. We're all lying to ourselves. Ninth truth. Bike shops become therapy offices. Walking into fancy shops with your basic bike feels like bringing boxed wine into a wine tasting. Feel the judgment, even when they're being nice. Price shock hits hard. Brake adjustment, $45. Chain replacement. Well, your cassette looks worn too, and really, you should upgrade to 11-speed because reasons. You learn maintenance partly to save money, and partly because explaining why you want to keep your perfectly good 8-speed gets exhausting. Weird relationships develop with shop employees. They know your bike's history better than your doctor knows yours. Hey, how's this early doing? Still having bottom bracket issues? Always leave spending more than planned. I went for chain lube, walked out with new tires because these look worn and you don't want flats on vacation, right? 10th truth. Helmet hair becomes your signature look. Good hair days are over. Helmet hair is the default now. You develop coping strategies. special hair products, shake-and-go techniques, travel-size styling supplies. Long hair riders know true helmet hair torture. That perfect flat press look screaming, "I bike to work," louder than any bumper sticker. Start planning outfits around helmet compatibility. Some hairstyles become impossible. Develop supernatural ability to find bathrooms with decent mirrors for post-ride hair repair. I've seen people arrive at meetings looking electrocuted, desperately trying to revive their hair, and dry shampoo becomes essential equipment. Worst part? You stop caring. "This is just how I look" now becomes your motto. Could be worse problems to have. 11th truth. Mystery bike noises drive you insane. Every bike develops its own soundtrack. Creaks, clicks, weird tricks that would make normal people crazy. You become an audio detective. That's new, you think mid-ride. Tracking sounds like hunting gas leaks. Bottom bracket, pedals, headset, investigation mode activated. Spend hours reading forums about similar noises. Anyone else get clicking sounds only on the third pedal stroke after shifting to the small ring? Someone must have solved this exact mystery, right? Noise disappears the second you reach the bike shop, like cars that stop making weird sounds at the mechanic. So you live with it, training your ear to distinguish normal bike noise from actual problems. Once completely tore apart my rear wheel chasing a clicking sound. Turned out to be my keychain rattling in the frame bag. There's 3 hours I'll never get back. 12th truth. Bike commuting makes you hate drivers. Before cycling, you were probably reasonable on the road. Occasional stop sign roll, accidental cutoff, no big deal. Start bike commuting, and every driver becomes a potential threat. Develop supernatural awareness. Eyes in the back of your head for car doors. Person parallel parking ahead? Definitely going to door you. Car at intersection? Absolutely planning a right hook, even after eye contact. Defensive riding gets complex. Memorize safe passing zones. Identify occupied parked cars. Predict driver behavior with scary accuracy. The rage is intense. Someone passes you just to stop at a red light ahead. Have thoughts that would worry therapist. Start photographing license plates like building evidence files. Any friend who drives carelessly with you in their car gets constant commentary, door handle gripping, following distance lectures, blind spot awareness seminars. 13th truth. Bike math becomes the only math that matters. Normal people think cost per mile. Cyclists calculate cost per gram saved, watts per dollar, whether cassette upgrades actually help on hills. Spend hours researching whether $200 wheels that are 100 grams lighter are worth it. Calculate time savings over 20-mile rides. Then justify it as performance investment. N+1 is mathematical law. Don't just want more bikes, need them. Each serves specific purposes no other bike can handle. It's not hoarding, it's optimization. Buy a $150 torque wrench to install $50 components because under-tightening is dangerous and over-tightening, expensive. Logic seems perfect until you add everything up. Know people tracking every bike expense in spreadsheets, calculating cost per ride like running businesses. Sometimes knowing the numbers gets scarier than not knowing. 14th truth. Lycra stops being embarrassing, becomes practical. Start in baggy shorts and cotton shirts thinking Lycra cyclists take themselves too seriously. Ride 20 miles in jeans and understand why tight synthetic fabrics exist. Conversion isn't instant. Try padded shorts for longer rides. Try moisture-wicking jerseys only for hot days. And find yourself in bike shop fitting rooms evaluating head-to-toe Lycra. Embarrassment fades when Lycra jerseys dry in minutes. Padded shorts save your butt. Aerodynamic advantages prove real, even for commuting. Now, you walk into coffee shops in full kit like you own the place. Comfort beats looking cool, and I stopped caring what people think about cycling outfit choices. The real test comes when considering Lyra for rides under 10 miles. That's when you know you're a full convert. 15th truth. You think about selling your bike, but never actually do it. Every cyclist has the moment. Bad weather commute, tight money, bike sitting unused for weeks. Look at it in the garage thinking, should I just sell this thing? Browse bike ads not to buy, but to check values. Spoiler, worth about half what you think. Depreciation hits bikes harder than luxury cars. Draft metal Craigslist ads. Maybe even take photos. Calculate extra garage space. Insurance savings. Yeah, this makes perfect financial sense. Then spring comes or weather clears and you see someone riding past your window. You remember why you love cycling. Freedom, exercise, the pure joy of human-powered movement. You realize you're not actually selling, just flirting with the idea like people threatening to quit jobs. Bike stays, ad never gets posted, and 6 months later, you wonder, why did I even consider this? Just spent 25 minutes complaining about biking and ending the same way every honest bike conversation ends. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Yeah, maintenance never stops. Weather works against you. Non-cycling friends think you're weird, and gear costs too much. Group rides have drama. Your bike will never be worth what you paid. But every single one of those problems comes from passion. Only paranoid about theft because we love our bikes. We only obsess over maintenance because we want perfect performance. We're only frustrated with drivers because we want to keep riding safely. These aren't reasons to quit. They're proof you care about this weird, wonderful hobby enough to deal with its problems. Riding still beats traffic, gas prices, and parking hassles. Cruising bike paths with tailwinds, conquering climbs you couldn't handle last year, commuting under your own power. All the annoyances disappear. Yeah, these truths are annoying, but there are truths. Somehow, that makes them easier to handle. So, which one of these hit closest to home? Or what annoying truth did I miss? Drop it in the comments. Guarantee someone else dealt with the same thing. If you admit you love biking despite all of its frustrations, hit that like button and subscribe for more honest bike content. Now, I need to take a second and go check tomorrow's weather forecast again.